Hello, how are you? Welcome to Office Politics Champions WhatsApp group. This is our group launch, and it's my pleasure to come to you this hour, your anchor to launch the Office Politics Champions WhatsApp group. You are welcome. First, let me start by thanking everyone who has opted to join the group. Let me actually thank you for responding to the Facebook adverts, because I believe many of you saw the Facebook adverts, and it was from the Facebook adverts that you wanted to know more about the program. And then, the idea of the group came your way, and you took advantage of the invitation, and here you are today. My name is Olatunji Shobodu, and I will be your anchor for the group, a leadership and office politics coach, and you would get to know a bit more about me in a few minutes. So this is our formal launch. This is also our first session, and I believe it promises to be an interesting one. It promises to be an interesting one. Let me also say sorry to have encroached on your rest day. I know that it is Sunday, but it's often the time that many people are also able to join a program like this. And so thank you for obliging us. I promise it's going to be worth your while. It's not just about today. It's about something that is starting today. And over time, you will come to be grateful that you decided to be a part of it, and you would be able to see what values have been added to you. So the focus of this group is office politics. The focus of this group is office politics. Let me confess, right from the onset, that at the time of advertising the various programs that we have on office politics, on behalf of Emmet Leadership Academy, which is where I am founder and CEO, we weren't quite, we weren't thinking about this. Actually, we weren't thinking about having this WhatsApp group. But the more I saw that, as people were asking for more information, they got rather excited. Some people wanted to know more. Some people, the excitement was in the air. And then it occurred to me, okay, wait a minute. I mean, it's one thing to decide to enroll for the program. If you don't enroll, it's okay as well. Maybe you are not just convinced, or maybe you want to be able to put a face, to who is behind it. So I am behind it on behalf of Emmet Leadership Academy. So now you know who is behind it. But even if you don't, we thought, well, let's create a platform that could help in some way or the other, that could support in some way or the other, all of these people who apparently are interested in the subject of office politics. I presume that a lot of you are professionals, a lot of you are at different levels or in different phases of your careers. And so office politics is just that important. Some people will not respond. They were just inquisitive, but they would not respond. They would not necessarily enroll in the program, and that's fine. But that's because they don't quite know yet what office politics is about. Some just believe that it's evil, and so they don't want to touch it. They don't want to be a part of it. It's okay if you feel that way. It's not the way to look at office politics. It's naive, to say the least. And you are probably suffering from the consequences of taking that position. But all of that, hopefully, you would come to discover. And I would say also that, from my experience of teaching office politics to not less than like 1,000 over the last couple of years, I know how people feel about it. I know how they look at it. Even those who are believers or Christians, I know how they look at it, and maybe Muslims as well. But it is not what people think it is. And, that inability to really appreciate what it entails is causing a lot of frustration for many people. Many people are challenged at their place of work because things are not going the way they want. They are being passed over, for one benefit or the other. Some people haven't gotten promotion for years and they don't know when it's going to come. And they keep working very hard and trying their best, but it just seems that some other people get it and they seem to get it at will. But here they are doing what they believe is right, and it's just not coming their way. And so they think life is unfair. They think, what is going on? All right. Some have even resigned their faith. No. So the reason why I thought, okay, let's create a platform. And this platform I would use, as it were, to facilitate discussions in this area, to create enlightenment about the subject matter, to provide help to people who may be going through one challenge or the other, and to make a lot more people feel comfortable about the concept of office politics. All right. And that's why we thought, let's start with this WhatsApp group and see where it goes from here. As at this moment, I believe there are about 61 members. Those who have opted, now that figure will change as we proceed. Hopefully it will grow. Hopefully, as you find a benefit in it, some of you will invite your friends, your associates, and people from within your sphere of influence. That's fine. The idea is let everyone benefit, let everyone know about it, let no one suffer unduly, all right, out of ignorance, because that nobody wants. When you know what it entails, I guarantee you would never ignore it anymore. You would never stay away from it. You won't think that it is evil. You won't think that it is against your belief or your faith, all right, which is what some of the problems have been for quite a number of people. So our motivation is to help. Yes, we have courses that we run. They're pretty detailed. They're compelling. People have gone through them. Like I said, I have taught many of them. Years ago, it used to be free. Things have changed, but this platform for now is free. And everyone that has joined, you are pioneer members of the platform, and you have lifetime membership. Of course, beyond a point, we probably will make it a paid arrangement. And so everyone who joins thereafter, probably will have to pay something. But, that is still somewhere down the road. Let's focus on the now. For now, it is free for you. And, please, I want to encourage you, take full advantage of the platform. So I've talked about what our motivation is. I've talked about the purpose of the group. It is to help you. Office politics can stand in the way of your career. It can stand in the way of you enjoying fulfillment in life. It can stand in the way of your personal development and growth. It can stand in the way of your business. If you're a business owner, it can stand in the way of many things. Okay, so it's not one of those things that you want to ignore. It's not one of those things you want to ignore. I haven't gone into the session proper. These are all preliminaries, okay? These are all preliminaries. So that's why, I've had too many stories. More recently, just a couple of days ago, I had somebody who was going through one of our programs, Equip Bootcamp, we call it. And, the person had a very unpleasant experience, suddenly out of nowhere, okay? The job was threatened. Before she knew what was happening, it seemed to have been all over. Unfairly treated, I must admit, and it ought not to have been so. But that's because a number of things were taken for granted. That's because she obviously didn't have the requisite knowledge of politics, workplace politics, or office politics. And that's why that kind of thing could happen. It was needless, it was avoidable, and it had far-reaching consequences. Why would you allow something like that to happen? You wouldn't want to know how many years that person had done in that organization. You wouldn't want to know that, the person still, all right, just a while back was even promoted. You wouldn't want to know that there was no disciplinary issue. The person wasn't accused of anything that was negative, but suddenly the career was truncated. That shouldn't happen. But that's what happens when you opt to sit out on office politics. It shouldn't happen. And this is how we hurt ourselves, all right, needlessly. So look at this platform as one that will help you in that area. If you are a part of this platform and you are active, I guarantee that the chance that something like that will happen to you will be very minimal. Very minimal. Why? Because these things are not rocket science. All right? It's because you lack the requisite insight. That's why they happen. You can take control of your career, all right, and drive the car of your own career as you wish, to the point that you wish, by doing what you know to do. All right. In the same way you learn how to drive a car so that you can move it from point A to point B as you desire, you can do the same with office politics. You just need to learn what it's about, understand how to play and win. And that's something I have done. I came to realize that politics was real in the corporate setting, indeed in every setting. And because of the fact that I was a strategy person from day one, all right, I couldn't but, take interest in it. And it worked well for me. Over a space of 22 plus years, while I was in the banking industry, and even after I left, it worked excellently for me. I was never taken unawares. I sat firmly on the driving seat of my career. I got out of the industry at my own time, under my own terms as well. Not that, some shock suddenly happened and before I knew it, I was out. No, I was on top of my game. I knew exactly what to do. I was sensitive to my environment. And like you would play chess, I knew the kinds of moves that I needed to make. And I operated, at the very highest levels, ultimately. And then over different, over different institutions. All right. Within the banking industry, I must have worked in like 3 places. Okay. And I related at very high levels with the board, with very senior management, EXCO. I later became one of them. So I understand how these things work. And that's what we'll be sharing. Now, this platform is also created so that some of you that have challenges, if you do not mind, you bring it to the platform. Right. You don't have to name names. You don't have to be so graphic. Just give a sense of what is going on, and you can pick the brains of others. But you can do that under a controlled environment where you have an expert and a coach, in the person of myself, who can moderate the discussions and also can prevent you being given the wrong counsel. As we do that, everybody learns, all right, from the process. Everybody would learn and grow as a result. And of course, as we do that, as we interact, and you then find the need for you to take any of the more comprehensive programs that we offer, you can avail yourself of that as well. So effectively, the group begins today. All of you that have joined, you have joined, before now, and you saw on the platform, I said, okay, so there's going to be, a launch today, and we're going to have the first business session as well. And so here we are. Once again, thank you for joining. We look forward to seeing you benefit. We look forward to you coming back and, sharing your positive experiences and victories and progress in your career. We look forward to you sharing the value that you have gained from the platform, and of course, extending the privilege to be part of the platform to your friends and associates and others. All right, you would have seen also that we have put in place some rules. It seems to be a long list, but it's important that we maintain order and decency. And that's why we have those rules. And we intend to enforce them. We intend to enforce them. All right. So we want to encourage you. This is a platform where we've come to learn. This is a platform that is for professionals. This is a platform that is meant to be dignifying and would like for us to relate within the context of the purpose of the platform. Please respect the reason that we have come together, and let's do everything to realize the benefit that we have on offer. Let's do everything. And you see a number of things that we have said there, but let me emphasize two very important things. One is respect, mutual respect. We like for everyone to respect every person on this platform, and you know what that means. Because it is a platform where we're not necessarily seeing ourselves face to face, the use of our words becomes very crucial. So please mind the use of your words. If you don't want to be treated in a manner, please don't treat. Try not to treat others in that manner. That's all that we ask. Love one another, so to speak. Serve one another. All right. You don't know who is at the other end. You don't know who is on the platform with you, and you don't want to do something that you would regret. That person may be the one who is going to offer you counsel tomorrow that will save your career. That person may be the one who is going to come head hunting you tomorrow. You don't want him to discover, oh, so you were on the platform and you were the one telling me this and that some time ago. These are the kinds of things that could happen, and you want to avoid it. So mutual respect is important, please. It's very important. We will not hesitate to have to excuse those who cannot relate with others on that basis. The second thing that is very important is fairness. Be fair to others. Be fair to others. Please be fair to others. What you won't take, don't give it. All right? Have consideration for others. We are not all at the same level of development. We are not all right, of the same kind of heart or the same kind of mind. We will not all see things from the same perspective. We need to be able to accommodate each other so that we all can grow. Iron needs to sharpen iron. Let's allow iron to sharpen iron so that we're all the better for it. So fairness is important. This is not a platform where we want to play favoritism. No, not at all. Everyone has access to every benefit that this platform has to offer. We intend to keep it that way, and we look forward to you cooperating with us and everybody else on the platform to keep it that way. I want to also encourage you to participate. Let me be clear about this, that the value you will derive from this group is going to depend on how much you are willing to contribute to the group. Some people like others to be the ones speaking, to be the ones contributing, and they won't say anything. They will just be picking. No, it doesn't work like that. If they were not speaking, if others aren't contributing, how will you benefit? All right. So you need to put yourself out there. Don't be shy. All right. Don't think what you're saying, you're not sure. Say it anyway, because until you say it, how will people know? How will you even know whether you are correct or not? How will you know, other perspectives that some people may have that can benefit you? So it's important that everyone contributes. The more you contribute, the more value you stand to gain from the group. The more you add to others, the more others will be encouraged to share their views, and the more you will benefit from the group. So I want to say that don't come and just watch and just stay silent. All right. We don't want silent membership. Like I say in my leadership classes, a silent leader is a weak leader. Why is that? because the power of a leader lies in the words of the leader. If a leader is not speaking, chances are the leader is not powerful. Where the word of a leader is, or where the word of a king is, there is power. So if you keep quiet, what are you suggesting? All right. So that's on a bit of a lighter note. So I want to encourage each one, please go and read those guidelines again and be sure that you are conversant with them. Be sure that you are conversant with them. And please don't just read, but also submit yourself to them, comply with them. Let us enforce order and decency in that group. It's crucial. Where there is order, where there is decency, where there is unity, great things happen there. Great things happen there. And we want great things to happen here. We want great things to happen for you here. We want to see great things happen in the lives and the careers of the people, that we have brought together on that platform. That's what we would like to see. That's what we would like to see. All right. What else do you want to know? Somebody was asking, I think it was yesterday, that, we should share the link so that they can invite their friends. Okay. So let me speak to that. We have been very careful to extend the invitations to join the platform, all right, at this very early stage. And so you find that virtually everyone that has responded positively to our invitation had seen an advert first of one office politics program or the other. We have a couple of them. And so they had reached out to us saying, we want more information. On the basis of their reaching out to us, we then send them information on the specific programs they asked for, and then later we invited them. Now, it is possible that some people also did the same, and we have not invited them. The reason is, we can't see your status or profile picture, all right, we don't want to just invite anybody. We'd like to see something. All right. If we can't relate to your name when we check you out, we're still a bit hesitant. That doesn't mean you can't join subsequently. It simply means that we need to be careful at the onset, so that it's not everybody responding to the adverts that really knows anything about it or is interested. Some people are just mischief makers, and we'd like to try and avoid them as much as possible at the onset. We wanted to hit the ground running and to do it right. This is a serious group. It's not, just for all comers. It's not for all comers. And I'd like to say that I say that with due respect. Why? Because, it's not everybody that it relates to. It's not everybody that what we'll be discussing matters to. It matters more to people who are in the corporate setting, who are in non-governmental organizations, who are within an organizational setting where there's certain structures. All right. So it doesn't just apply to everybody. And so it is possible that we've also admitted some people who may not quite be interested, or find what we're discussing relevant, or maybe not be well suited. All right. But we're going to do all of that pruning and cleaning up the group as we proceed. And it will be based on the quality of participation that we get from people. And we owe, the people for whom the group was set up that responsibility. We don't want to waste your time. We want you to receive value from it. And it's important, therefore, the kind of company, that you keep. And we intend to make it a very high quality company. So why have I provided that background? So you have a sense of who and who are present, are members like your good selves for now. And therefore, to also encourage you that when we share the link for you to invite others to the group, please invite people that the group will benefit. Invite people who are pursuing careers and serious about it. Invite people who are leaders in, well-structured organization. It doesn't have to be big organization. It can be small, but where there's structure, where career is important. All right. Invite people that will behave in the manner that will not be a problem for others. Those are the things, that's the plea that I would make. And so after we are done with this, inaugural session, we will share the link on the platform, and then you can invite others. Of course, we just don't admit everyone. So as the admin, there are two of us. We will check out who is applying. All right. So people just don't join. We have to approve them one by one. And that's how all of you have joined. And we'll continue to do that, like I said, for your own benefit, for the benefit of every person who decided to join the group. Okay, so I think that's about it. Let me also say that from time to time, we'll be sharing different materials. I shared a video yesterday. It was a small clip from a session that I gave many years ago. I think that session was titled 15 Reasons Why You Must Play and Win at Office Politics. So from time to time, we'll be sharing materials with you that will help you on the subject matter. Like I said, please use the platform. If you do have issues, put them on the platform. Let's see what we can get. But we will, we will moderate to ensure that what you pick out is useful counsel for you. And if anyone needs additional follow-up, then they should request for it. The admin will reach out to you, and we will give you, the options that you can pursue, all right, to resolve your issues. I'd like to say, I know that people will need support. A lot of people are going through certain things at work. They need counsel. I've had somebody, very senior person, call me, having attended one of our office politics programs, and he had to call me on one occasion. He suddenly, out of nowhere, was issued a query. I mean, a senior manager for that matter. And he was quite scared because he didn't know where it was coming from. He didn't know where it was headed. I just saw, somebody trying to reach me frantically, calling and calling repeatedly. At the time I saw my phone, there had been over 20-something calls. By the time I got back to him to speak to him, it was quite a worrisome situation. But there was nothing really, all right, to get so worked up about. So basically walked him through what he needed to do, and even gave him the privilege of saying, okay, when you respond to it, send this stuff to me, let me see it, and then tell you a few things. And long and short, we did all of that, and he sent back the reply. I mean, needless to say, that was the end of the matter. All right. But again, if he didn't have access to proper counsel, it could have become some other thing. So that's what I'm saying about the kind of value that you have on offer via this platform. From time to time, we will crave your indulgence. We would share some of our catalog of programs to give you an opportunity to participate in them as you wish. Is all up to you. All that we can say to you is that we have never run programs that people will attend and will not return, acknowledging that they got far more value, all right, for their money. And they will also return with very positive reports of how things have changed for them on account of their participation and attendance at those programs. I can name many of them. All right. So we are confident in what we offer, and we hope that as you get to know me, as you get to know us as an institution, you will feel more comfortable, all right, getting on any of our programs that you find you have a need for. All right. So I think that's it with the preliminaries. From time to time, we would update our rules. We will provide more information. You will see more people joining. We will be welcoming them as they join. So please bear with us. If you keep seeing the welcome messages, repeatedly, is just to make as more people join, to make them feel welcome, to make them feel at home, to help them to settle down very quickly, and to be, a great part of us. So that's it. Now, I think we can go on. Please let me say, I encourage you to ask any question at this point. If you want to, just type your question in the comments. We're streaming this from our my YouTube channel. You can subscribe if you feel the need to, if you're attracted by the materials on the platform. But for this purpose, if you put your questions there in the comment area, I will see them and I can respond, while the stream is on. And if you get to see it, maybe you are not a part of the live stream now and you see it later, still put your comments there. We will respond, when we see it. That's a functional channel, and I broadcast regularly every week, in fact, multiple times every week. But that's on us, on the subject of leadership, not quite on the subject of office politics. All right, so let's go into today's session, so that I share a few things with you as a way of also welcoming you formally, so that it's not just about the housekeeping alone. You begin to enjoy value right away. So, like I said on the platform, let me share with you about 7, or so reasons why you must not ignore office politics. All right, why you must not ignore office politics. So we start that session right away. Why is this important? Why is it important, to speak on something like this? Well, that topic tells you something right away. It tells you that there are people who ignore office politics. It tells you that that's a position they consciously took. They chose, as one of my friends would say, to sit out office politics. That is, they know it exists. They're probably, seeing it play out, being affected by it, but they have no reason. They are yet to be convinced that it's something they should be mindful of. All right. And unfortunately, it affects them. So the point to make is that whether you like it or not, all right, this phenomenon is present in every organization. In every organization, whether it's a private sector organization, whether it's a non-governmental organization, and of course, in governmental organizations, of course, what do you expect? Whatever the organization, in fact, everyone would agree that it even happens. There's politics in the church, in church organizations. There's politics in mosque organizations. Wherever, and the truth is, wherever people are gathered for a purpose that is beneficial or deemed to be beneficial, there must be politics. Wherever people are gathered for a purpose deemed to be beneficial, there must be politics. What is politics really? What is politics? Politics is just about interest. It's a game of interest. If you and I come together and we are, pursuing something, you have your interest, I have my interest. Many times the interests are conflicting. All right. And I may not know. I may be saying something and be interested in some other thing. You may be saying something and be interested in some other thing. So you already have interests that are playing out. So if you and I are part of an organization, what do you think we'll be doing? Each one will be pursuing his interest. And if the interests are conflicting, then it becomes a game. It becomes a game. I want to win, you want to win. Winning there means I want to realize my goals. I want my interests served. You want your interests served. So anywhere you see people gathered, all right, under any kind of structure, there is politics. There is politics. There is politics. And what that politics does is that it determines what you get and what I get. What everyone within that system gets is going to be determined by the interplay of the forces at work, the interplay of the pursuits of interest. That's what will determine. And that means because the interests are conflicting, meaning that you can't have your way without hurting me in my quest to have my way, and vice versa. So you can't, both of us can't get what we want all at the same time. There's a trade-off. All right. The more I get, the more you lose, and vice versa. So you understand that this matter is critical. And I don't want to be getting, the least benefit. I want to get the most. You want to get the most. So what do? Each one has to look for how his or her interest will be served. Now, think of it. If every organization operates in that manner, how will your interest be served if you choose to ignore others who are pursuing their interests? If you choose to ignore the forces that are playing themselves out, these forces will always be there. If you ignore the interplay of forces, you do so at your own peril. You do so at your own peril. If you don't realize your interests, then don't come and complain to anybody, because nobody is obliged to serve your interests. Nobody is obliged to serve your interests. Now, if that is an organization that you and I got into in the pursuit of our careers, guess what the politics does? It determines our career prospect. It determines our career prospect. That's what it does. All right, so we're assuming both of us are work in the bank. I was in the bank for 22 plus years. All right, I left the bank. It's more than 10 years now, possibly about 15. Okay, now, so what's going to happen as bankers and politics is playing out? It's going to affect our careers. It will. There's no question about it. So if you are not playing, then your career is at risk. How far you would go is at risk. Why? Because you are taking no steps to protect your career and your growth. And that's why some people's career get cut short prematurely. That's why some people will stay donkey years on a grade and nobody remembers that. I remember talking to somebody recently after the person shared, an unpleasant experience within a bank. And, the person said, look, I've been in that bank for 20 plus years. And I had to ask, okay, so you've been there for 20 plus years. On what grade are you? On what grade are you? And then when did you get in? So the person got in at the first levels as a graduate. And in 20 plus years, the person had not reached manager level. Now, something has gone very wrong because your mates, some of them are already AGMs in management cadre. Some of them are senior managers. How come you are still playing at that level? Well, there are things they did that you did not do. But when we want to kid ourselves, we say, well, maybe they were lucky. Well, maybe they had people. How come you don't have people? How come you didn't have who is speaking for you? Yet you are working very hard. All right? You are doing everything that you believe needs to be done. People are appreciating you and they are saluting the quality of your contribution. But when it comes to rewarding you, it just doesn't come through. There is something you are not doing. It's a game and you are not playing it right. It's a game and you are not playing it right. Nobody's watching over your interest. The irony of the issue here with many people that I've had reason to counsel, that I have listened to in my programs, is that even the people are not pursuing their own interest. I mean, it's amazing that people go into an organization and they don't have a sense of how far they want to go, when they want to get there, where they want to touch. And they just want to become senior people. They just want, you don't become the CEO of an organization just by wishing it. You work it out. And working it is not in how hard you work, and it's not in relying on your work exclusively, or the quality of your work, or the targets that you meet. You are not the only one meeting targets. There are many others like you who are meeting targets and who are even surpassing it. All right? So your growth or your quest to advance in your career cannot be based on performance alone. All right? So the next point, you must have seen it there, is you need to protect your interest. Who is protecting your interest? Is it the organization? Is it the HR? Are you depending on them for your interest to be protected? Hello. Is a responsibility you have to take up on your own. As it were, you have to work out your own salvation. Is your responsibility. Everyone has an interest. Everyone is pursuing his or her interest. Nobody has time, all right, to spend pursuing your own interest when they are stakeholders within the same organization. What do you think? They're pursuing your interest. So at least they put their interest ahead of yours when it comes to priorities. And who will lose? You. They would gain, because they will serve themselves first before they even think of you. By the time they are thinking of you, the opportunity has passed. And when the cycle starts again, the same thing would happen. It's amazing how many people are not taking active steps to protect their interests. All right? That's one more reason, because nobody will do it if you don't. Nobody will do it. That's the truth. That is simply the truth. There's some other reason, and this is a very instructive reason, which is the fact that there's no room for everybody at the top. There's no room for everyone at the top. There can only be one MD. Maybe in these days of co-CEO, maybe two. So who is it going to be? You? Well, you have to work hard for it. And not just by meeting your targets. You have to do much more than that. At those levels, at the level some of us want to get to, there is the greater, we don't even understand the requirements. We don't know the things that management considers. We think it's all about what we have done. No, it's not all about what you have done. It's not all about what you have done. So the higher you go, all right, the smaller the opportunity to get a seat. The higher you go, there will only be one MD. Maybe there would only be one deputy MD, or maybe there could be two, there could be three maximum. Maybe there could be a couple of executive directors, maybe four, maybe five, maybe six, depending on how big the institution is. Then you come to general managers, and it goes down that way. So it's like a triangle. So if you think about it, how many people joined the organization when you joined? If you joined from the very, from the beginning, from the lower levels, then you could be in your hundreds, you could be in your thousands, if the organization is very big. But how many of you are going to end up? How many of you are going to get a space up there as you move on? All right? So there is no room at the top to accommodate everybody. If there was, then maybe you can rely on your work. Maybe somehow your work will get you there. But there is no room. And when there is no room, when the supply okay, is far less than the demand, what happens? The stakes are higher. The stakes are higher. When the stakes are higher, the competition hots up. And then one person is not even doing anything, wants the system to take care of them. When the stakes are higher and getting higher, no, you would be thoroughly disappointed, frustrated, and embarrassed. And if you don't wake up quickly enough, you have yourself to blame, however. But you need to understand that this is how these things are. This is how these things are. And by the way, that triangle is everywhere. It's in every organization. All of us can be the CEO. All of us can be EDs. There are people who will never go past the deputy manager position, all right, no matter how long they stay. It's not because the institution has restrictions or policies to restrict certain people. It's because you have not cared enough to understand the politics of the workplace so that you can navigate successfully. And there's a way to do that. You see why you must not ignore. You can't afford to ignore office politics. Majority of those who have ignored it came to regret it in their later years, after they discovered that they had spent donkey years and suddenly they have nothing to show for it. Sorry case. Sorry case. Very sorry case. Yes, I see, I see a comment. Sir, can I officially invite you to speak on this topic in my organization? I hope your comment is in the comment area. I'll be glad, I'll be willing to speak on this subject in your organization. That's one of the reasons that we created this platform, is to let people know that this talk of politics is an integral part of an organization. And leaders, by the way, also need to have understanding of it, because they have a key role to play. Leaders are like the umpires. They set the tone for how this thing works. And they have a responsibility to ensure that it works, it is not skewed to serve a different purpose. It is not, compromised, such that everyone has an opportunity to pursue his or an interest without let or hindrance. So the leader is like an umpire, and the leader also has his or her interests. So they're in a pretty precarious situation. And true leaders know to be fair to all. Despite the fact that they have an interest, they know to be fair to all. All right, these are some of the elements, okay, that require you to have a good understanding of what is involved, so that the players can serve their interests, so that no one is blaming any other person for what outcomes they get from within the institution. So yes, I would be willing to do that. No problem at all. Just get in touch. If you put your contacts, I will also reach out to you. Maybe I'd also post my email on the group platform for those who may want to communicate with me directly. All right, so that's number 4 point that I want to leave with you. Number 5 is this. This is one of the ways that some of us show naivety in the workplace environment. We expect to be treated fairly. And when we don't get that, we complain. All right, that the leaders are biased, the boss is biased, management is biased, everybody is biased. The truth is, why should you expect to be treated fairly? You think that people will treat others fairly? All right. I mean, there's a proverb where I come from that says that if you give a farmer a hoe, all right, to walk on the ground, the way the hoe works, the farmer will be bringing the earth towards himself, not towards some other person. All right. So people are working for their interests. You are talking about fairness. No. Somebody said, instead of thinking fairness, pursue leverage. Don't pursue fairness, because you won't get it. All right, you won't get it. It's wiser to seek leverage or leverage. I will choose which one, as my leader would say. All right, leverage. And why is that important? Because of the next point I'm going to talk about. All right, so who are you expecting? Why are you expecting people to be fair to you when you are in competition with others? When others want what you want, you are talking about fairness. You are not doing anything. One of my bosses many years ago, when I went to complain to him about something that, I felt very upset about, a way that one of my bosses was treating me, and he looked me right eyeball to eyeball. He was the CEO of the bank at the time, and I was reporting directly to him. And he said to me, I will share with you a Chinese proverb. He said, well, the proverb says that the right of way is not given, it is taken. So you need, I had to process that. And nobody will give you the right of way. Stop expecting the right of way to be given to you. Nothing good will fall onto your laps. You have to work for it. You have to fight for it. Not physically, all right? But you have to take steps. You have to be strategic. You have to show that you want it. And there are things to do to get it. That's how. You need to be fair to yourself first if you want others to be fair to you. And being fair to yourself is recognizing what is at stake and taking steps, all right, in pursuit of it. And when people see what you are doing, then they know that you are conscious of what you want and that you will do whatever you need to do to realize it. Now that secures respect for you. That puts them on notice that it's not going to be easy for anyone to cheat you. All right. And you are not expecting anyone to just serve you fairness on a platter of gold, but you are ready to work for it and to earn it. And that's it. If you want to do that, you can't ignore office politics. You can't ignore office politics if you want to do that. And you should do that. All right. You should do that. You should do that. All right. The next thing is this. You need power. You need power. No one gets power without playing the politics. Now, there are two things let me share with you. They are truths, all right? Fundamental truths, eternal truths. The first is that nothing changes without the application of power. So you want to get a promotion? You want to be posted to a more, desirable role? You want to become a leader? You want to get recognition? You want to get a raise? It requires power. It requires power. Otherwise, everything is permitted to remain where it is once there is no application of power. You need power, all right, in order to change. And so in your career, you need power. You can't be powerless and expect to grow. So you have to think about it. How do you get power? In the context of office politics as well, you won't get anything without power, because politics is a play of power and influence. It's all about power and influence. And what is the power and influence for? It is what you need to truly serve your interest. It's what you need to truly serve your interest. So you don't have it, your interest will not be served. And you can't get power without playing the politics. You can't, because that's the whole essence of politics. is power play. Is power play. Power not for the sake of power, but power because the stakeholders know that that's what it takes for them to realize their objectives, to serve their interests. So why would you want to do differently? You ignore politics, you can never have power. You'll be powerless within your organization. If you are powerless, any wonder why you are not making progress? Any wonder why things are not coming your way? Any wonder why you are not getting promoted? You have no power. You are not interested in it. You have not done anything, all right, to go after it, to appropriate it. And you're expecting your situation to change. Maybe at very low levels, all right, where promotion is 1 for 2 penny when you have just entered. But the higher you go, it's not going to be like that. You have to work for it beyond just the pursuit of your target. And there are things that you need to do. All right? There are things you need to do. There are different types of power, different power. You need to know how to get them. And you need to know their significance. All right? You need to know their significance. Because different shades serve different purposes. You know, because they are like tools in your, you know, in your bag that you know what to bring out at what point in order to deal with what situation. So you see, how can you ignore the politics of the workplace and you want to make progress on a sustained basis? When you have just, you know, started working, when you are a newbie, as it were, okay. By the time you move 2-3 steps at most, then you begin to feel the heat. And you begin to see that things just don't come to you, you know, like they used to. Because one, the weather is changing. All right. The stakes are getting higher. The interests are multiplying. And everyone is bracing up for war, as it were. Although you may still be smiling at yourself, but everyone is bracing up for war. Everyone is bracing up for war. Okay? So that's the way that's number 6. Okay, I'm going to answer that question, the contractor question, shortly, sir. Just give me a moment. Let me cover the 7th one and then I'll come back. So the 7th point why you cannot afford to ignore office politics is that your work will not speak for you. All too often, that's the position that many people, you know, that's the position they take. My work will speak for me. I just focus. I know the reason that I'm, you know, that I'm here. I will just focus on my work. I just ensure I meet my targets and I will leave everything to God. That's not how it works. You'll be taken aback. You'll be embarrassed that you will do your work. You will meet your targets. They will be acknowledged, but you will not be rewarded in the way that you're expecting. They will still pass you over for promotion. And you will complain and you will be frustrated and you will think that people are against you. Your boss doesn't like you. They are not, they will say it's because you came from one region or all of that. All of that is absolute nonsense. It's because of one thing and one thing alone. Your own ignorance. First, about the fact that your work does not speak. Work doesn't speak. It is people who speak, and they speak about the work of others. So who is speaking for you? Who is going to speak for that great work that you have done? How do you get your own people who will be on your side when they are talking about you where you are not present? How do you assure that there is a voice sounding in your favor? It's not magic. It's not wishing. It's not praying. It is what you have to work out because there's a way to do it. There's a way to do it. All right? So many, this is their position. But it never works out for them. Say, my work will speak for me. My work. Work has no voice. It does not speak by itself. It's useless if you are depending on it to speak. And people find they come to that hard truth very late in the day. They've lost a lot of ground. The tables have turned against them before they come to realize that what's going on. Yes, your work does not speak. The second is that you refuse to take responsibility, to learn how this game is played, the intricacies and the details and the strategies that you can apply, so that you can actively engage as others are engaging. And we point to those others, we say they are sycophants, they are playing eye service, they are doing this, they are doing that, but they are getting promoted. You are not playing eye service, you are not doing any of those things, you know. But guess what? That's how they know to play. You don't like it, you don't have to use that strategy. But eye service is not office politics. It's a way that some stakeholders play their own part in the game. Maybe it works for them. Who are you to therefore criticize them? Okay, if they are playing eye service, what are you playing? You are not playing at all. But they are getting something, you are getting nothing. And you are pointing accusing fingers at them. They don't know what they are doing. Who really doesn't know what he or she is doing? And I don't advocate eye service. That's not what I teach. It's not an effective strategy in this office politics game. And it doesn't define office politics, because some people have looked at it and they say office politics is not good. I don't want to play, just because some people, you know, are playing the eye service card. Eye service is a strategy, is a tactic that people deploy. It doesn't determine politics. The politics of it is the interplay of interests. And anyone will use any strategy they like to pursue their interests. So if they do bad things, does that mean office politics is bad? That's how they know to play. You do good things and get your results. And there are many good and great things that you can do to get your results. Okay, so that's it. So those are the 7 that I want to share with you. There are more, but I guess that's enough for today, so that I don't overburden you with too many of those. Of course, we continue our discussions on the platform, but let me speak to the question that, you know, Mr. Bayo Ajadi raised. Says, thanks for these amazing insights. Sir, how can we study the politics of an organization as a contractor? And so I presume that, you know, you are looking at yourself as a contractor, you know, who relies on companies to give you jobs, you know, and you implement the jobs, and you know, so your business is heavily dependent on the patronage that you get. Yes, there is the politics of the organization, all right, and it's not very different from the internal politics, because you are coming from outside. You are not inside, if I get what you mean. You come looking for a job. You are not like an employee, all right, but you are a contractor. But in a sense, you are on the list of contractors that the company deals with, or you are on a list that, you know, the company could possibly deal with. Now, in order for you, and there will be politics. Why? Because the people in the company have their own people. The people in the company, they get along with some people more than they get along with others. So you discover that some people just keep getting jobs. They are always getting jobs. And here you are, you keep struggling. All right? There are different reasons why that will be the case. The issue is, do you understand the dynamics of the organization? Do you know who are the decision makers in the organization? Do you know those who are calling the shots? Do you know whether the people that you are talking to have any voice at all? Do they have any say? Or you are talking to the wrong set of people and depending on the wrong set of people? Do you know what others are doing in order to get jobs and to get them on a consistent basis? Do you have people inside there who, when they hear when your name comes up, your bid is presented, somebody is saying, okay, we know him, he does a great job, and they are passionate about speaking for you? So there are different things that you need to pay attention to. And then there is, I said earlier, there is the issue of leverage. What do you bring to the table? What is it that you are offering that is a compelling reason why the organization should give you the job and not somebody else? So there are issues of leverage. What do you bring to the table? What differentiates you from others? And how are you projecting that differentiation? Who is seeing that differentiation? Because those are your strong points. How are you able to put them forward, to showcase them in a way that people see them and it counts for you? All right. So it's pretty much the same game. It's just that the structure of your play and the forces you contend with, they'll be different from that of an employee. Okay. And so as we go along on the platform, you will learn more and more about what this entails. And like I said before, you can also check out our catalog of programs. For some people, some things are very urgent. You want to be able to deal with them. You are facing some challenges right away. For some of you, some of those programs become handy because then a lot of ground can be covered within a very short time. There, you also have the opportunity of interacting personally with myself or any other instructor so that you can meet your very urgent needs. And so some may want to consider some of those programs if you have urgent needs. In some cases, what you may even need is you want to talk to me one-on-one so that you can share the issue and get a counsel and all of that. There's also an opportunity for you to book a call. It could be a coaching call or a consulting call. We have made all of those provisions, and you can have access, to my time on a private basis or on a personal basis to deal with some things that are crucial, that are substantial, and that you really need to get answers to. And you can't wait for the pace at which we're going to work on the general group platform. So, but there will still be value for you to pick up. So I hope you get a sense of what your position as a contractor, all right, to an organization, the politics that will surround it, and the kind of things you have to think of, the kind of work that you have to do to ensure that you are a strong contender, all right, to get jobs on a consistent basis from that, and to get the kinds of jobs that you want. Because there are contractors and there are contractors. Some contractors, all they will get are small jobs. Why? Because the structure has kept them at a level and they are not paying attention. All right. They just find that everything they do, they can't seem to get job more than maybe 1 million. All right. But there are some people walking away with jobs of 50 million, of 100 million. And these are jobs they can do themselves. They have what it takes to do it. But the truth is that they are not playing the game right. And when I say they're not playing the game right, I'm not talking about bribery and corruption. No. We won't teach, you won't hear that on this platform. I don't teach that. I teach legitimate, legal ways, strategic ways of playing this game called office politics. So for those who are mindful of their faith, as I am, we adopt approaches and strategies that don't sell. We don't sell our soul. We don't compromise our faith. We don't, demean ourselves. We play righteously. We are upright in our approach. So if you want to play upright, not having to look over your shoulders or look at your back, you have come to the right place. And the strategies we teach are very potent. Like I said, they work for people. And we have seen many of them. They work, all right, consistently. And, they don't put unnecessary pressure on people. They're at ease. They are not afraid that they could do something wrong and tomorrow somebody is chasing them all over the place. All right. So that's it. I see another, another question from Sheon Akindele. I noticed a lot of office politics as a manager because I'm strictly to discipline at workplace. I realized I was disliked, especially always cut down cost of procured items. I was totally disliked. Yes, I mean, if you are seen as a stumbling block, to people who want to cut corners, who want to do things that they should not do, you have nothing to worry about. But you still need to learn how to play the game. You need to be able to manage, yourself, your conduct within the context of that environment. You need to be able to have your own friends, you need to build your own power base that will protect you, all right, in that environment, because you are like a sheep that is operating in the midst of wolves. The wolves want to devour everything, including the sheep. So how do you survive? There's a way to play that game. You need to be shrewd like a snake or wise as a serpent and still remain innocent as a dove. That's a powerful strategy in this game. It's a powerful strategy in this game. As we go along, you get to learn what it is. So it's good that what you are doing a great job, cutting cost for any company. There's no company who doesn't like somebody who watches out, who is able to manage their cost. I mean, imagine what is happening now. I mean, Nigerian environment, costs become very key. If companies are not doing well today, one of the things that will kill them is their ability or inability to manage their costs. So when somebody like you is there, you are a valued asset to the company. But guess what? There will be people who don't like you, who will not like you, and who will do everything to make sure that you are removed. All right? But you can't open your eyes and watch people doing all manner of things and saying, I'm just doing my job. I'm just doing my job. It's true. But if you don't do anything, they will not only remove you from that place, they will remove you from the company. So you have to be on your toes and you have to get in the game. You have to know how to play. You have to build your own power base. You have to touch base with certain places. You have to relate with certain people in a certain way, including the people. And then where is the place of your boss? What does your boss think? What's your relationship with your boss? And then do you have others who are like mentors, who are like sponsors within the organization? Where do you muster influence? How much influence, do you wield? These are the things to pay attention to, because remember, like I said, at the end of the day, it's going to be the play of power. And so if you don't pay attention to the power play, all right, you may get what you didn't bargain for. You may get what you didn't bargain for. And it will now look like all I was trying to do was my job. All I was trying to do was to help the company. And people went after me and all of that. But the truth is that you would have lost your job. Or you may be doing a great job, and you are not getting rewarded for it. Imagine you doing that kind of job, risking and all of that. And at the end of the day, nobody is rewarding you. Even you will get frustrated. When you get frustrated, it will affect your job. It is when that frustration affects your job that management will notice. What's happening to Sheon? He's not been pulling his weight and all of that. They won't know that it is the consequence that has brought about that. And if you're not careful in managing that, before you know it, you're out the door. So at the end of the day, the people who didn't want you to be managing cost, you know, who you were depriving of what they were eating from it, or, you know, all the nonsense they were doing, they will win. And it will be a shame. All right? It will be a shame. And then some of us might think, I mean, how could God have allowed them to win and all of you and all of that and all of that? Hey, you know, you are not doing, there is a place for God, there is a place for you. There are things you have to do. And you need to learn it. You need to learn it. It's not something that, you know, just drops on your laps. Unfortunately, a lot of these things are not taught, you know, in the university, as it were. Maybe at the master's level, some of it. And that's why many people that attend the programs that I teach, you know, I teach, you know, in a couple of MBA sessions, executive MBA, but more than that in my programs, you know, the executives, they hear some of these things. And I often hear people say something like, I ought to have, why am I just meeting you? I ought to have met you like 10 years ago, like 15 years ago, like 5 years ago. These are things I should have learned, but nobody told me. Well, we don't want you to go through all of that. And it's never too late to learn, because life is about politics at every moment. Even if you are in your street and you are in the landlord association or tenants association meeting, it's people that have gathered there. They all have interests. There's politics there. If you are just attending like anybody, your interest will not be served. And soon all you will do is to complain. But some people will be appropriating benefits. They will be leaving you carrying the can. And all many of us will do is that we'll complain instead of taking responsibility. All right? Instead of taking responsibility. So that's it. I think it's a good place. I hope that Sheon also has picked up, you know, a couple of things from some of those remarks. We can continue with our discussions on the platform. Like I said, you know, I'd encourage you to participate, please. And also, you know, now, based on this session, the kinds of people that ought to be on this platform, that would benefit from this platform. So I promise I will share the link. You can invite others, but please make sure that, one, we see their pictures in the profile, their WhatsApp profile, and two, that they are the kinds of people that you want to keep company with, and that you are sure that others would like to keep company with. Most of all, that there are people who can benefit from the focus of the group, and people who can contribute as well, all right, to the advancement of the group. So let them come in and join and be part of the pioneers, and they enjoy free lifetime membership. All right, so my name remains Olatunji Shobodu, and I'm your anchor, you know, for the group. And I hope that this session has provided you with sufficient information about the reason we're coming together, has given you an idea of what to look forward to, and has encouraged you, you know, to really throw yourself in and to bring others as well. Let them benefit from this. And for those of you who wanted to put a face, you know, to the programs, to the institution called Emet Leadership Academy, so that you are comfortable to enroll in our programs, well, now you have put a face. I didn't talk about myself, but I did 22 years in banking. I have done over 35 years of work experience. I teach at 3 different business schools: Lagos Business School, Business School Netherlands, and I'll soon start teaching leadership at the James Hope University. That is, you know, that is being promoted by, you know, the chairman of Zenith and all of that. So, you know, I've been in this thing for quite a bit, but I run as founder and CEO, Emmet Leadership Academy. At Emmet Leadership Academy, we nurture leaders based on truth. We nurture leaders based on truth. So that's who we are. That's who I am. That's what we're about. And I guess there's value here for you to take advantage of. There's value here for you to take advantage of. I want to thank every one of you who has attended. And, I notice you've all stayed, all through. Be encouraged to reach out to me. If you need to reach out to me personally, you see my phone, you can see my number on the platform. I would also put my email there. And so let's move from here. So from time to time, we'll be having sessions like this. I hope that some of the sessions would be Zoom sessions. I'm going to try and, set that up properly so that we can also have some, face-to-face interaction. I discovered quite late, because I was using the WhatsApp business, that the group function did not provide for a video call. I had thought before that we'll be able to do a video call, but we'll go over that with time. Hopefully soon we'll even be too big for the WhatsApp platform, and then we'll move to a proper platform where that is more functional and we can interact a lot better. So it's been a pleasure meeting you, and it's my pleasure, being able to share this thought with you. Is the beginning. Be on the lookout for many more things, many more valuable sessions. Thank you for the questions you have asked. Thank you for the contribution. Thank you for the words of encouragement as well. Enjoy the rest of your day. I know this Sunday. Thank you for making our time to join me. And I look forward to continuous interactions with your good self. So it's been Office Politics Champions. It's the WhatsApp group that is focused on making you a master of the game and helping you to advance your career or your business, as the case may be. Thank you and good night, everybody. God bless you. Bye-bye.